African elephants are the largest land mammals on Earth. They live in very organized social systems with older family members teaching and protecting the younger ones. Highly intelligent, they roam in herds and are one of the few animals on Earth which, like humans, mourn the death of other family members. Unfortunately, in the near future, these magnificent creatures may no longer exist. The sad truth is, an elephant is slaughtered in Africa every 15 minutes, almost 100 elephants every single day. As we speak, an elephant in Africa is suffering a terrible, painful, terrifying death. Its face will be cut off and its tusks removed by poachers. It's likely other members of its family will suffer the same awful fate. The baby elephants will be left orphaned with no parents to care for them, and they will, most likely, eventually die themselves. Last year, it was estimated that up to 35,000 elephants were killed. And what is the reason? Why are poachers so desperate to get their hands on the elephant tusks? This horrifying slaughter is also that people can have pretty white trinkets to put on their shelves. Carvings, chopsticks, and other ornaments which could just as easily be made from other materials like mother of pearl, resin, and stone. Hong Kong is at the center of the poaching crisis because it is at the transit point for the ivory to go to other places in Asia, in particular China. Enormous shipments of tusks from Africa are being found by customs every couple of months. Why? Because the demand for ivory in China has increased dramatically, due to a growing middle class of people who can now afford it and they are willing to pay big dollars. It means more elephants are dying now than ever before. In fact, they are being brought to the edge of extinction. If nothing changes, African elephants will no longer exist in the wild in maybe 10 years' time. By the time most of us in this room are in our early 20s, we can tell our kids that there were once these magnificent creatures on Earth, but human greed ended their existence. What do you think? Well, I say no. I refuse to believe that that's the future. I think we can all do something to save these beautiful creatures. What, you may ask? What can we do? We're just kids. Well, let me tell you about my experiences, and maybe you too can be encouraged. It all started with a project in 5th grade about current events, when I discovered many people in my class didn't realize that elephants had to be killed for their ivory. But once they knew, they would never buy ivory again. I knew I could help spread the message to more people. I wrote a letter to the International Elephant Voices Organization asking how I could help. They put the letter on their Facebook page, and more than 600 people liked it. Probably some of those people are in this room. And more than 100 people shared it. My message was getting through to people all around the world, and every little bit helps. It encouraged me to do more. I started making elephant gift cards, stamped on the back with no to ivory. An article went into the Southside magazine, and within a few weeks, I had sold them all and raised enough money to foster a baby orphan elephant called Bamani. This is Bamani. Bamani's family was killed by poachers for their tusks. They probably didn't bother with him because he didn't have any tusks yet. He was found starved and dehydrated, wandering around on his own. Luckily, he was rescued and taken to an elephant orphanage in Kenya, where he is now fed and well looked after. I know the money I raised is being put to good use. My work for elephants really picked up in October when I took part in the International March for Elephants. I marched with Carl London, accompanied by my sister Imogen and fellow HKIS student Tina Bigfoot and 50 other people. We finished the march outside Chinese Arts and Crafts World, which, sadly, continues to sell products out of the library. My pictures were in some Chinese newspaper and also on the internet. Yay, spreading the message further. I then discovered that HKIS has accepted some tusks and ivory carvings from the government to put on display at the upper primary. And I have to say, I had a problem with this. My concern was that when you put ivory on display in a case next to kids' artwork, it really just reinforces the idea that it is acceptable to use ivory as art. I didn't think having tusks on display in a stairwell would educate anyone about the horrifying truth about the trade. So, although I was nervous to ask Dr. Kirsch to remove the tusks, I also knew that our school encourages us to have our own opinions and beliefs. So I went ahead with my email. A few days later he replied saying that they hadn't really thought about it like that before, and perhaps I might be right. Soon after, I found out that the ivory would be taken down and sent back to the government. I felt very excited that I had been able to make a difference. The South China Morning Post thought it was quite interesting as well, and then some newspapers in Australia thought so too. It was nerve-wracking but very exciting to actually be interviewed by international journalists about something so important. My hope now is that other schools in Hong Kong, which have been given tasks, follow our lead and send their ivory back to the government. Why is this so important, you might ask? Well, it is my belief, and the belief of many countries around the world, that confiscated ivory should be destroyed, so that it could never fall into the wrong hands again. To send a message to poachers, criminals, and buyers that ivory is worthless when it is not attached to an elephant's face. The Hong Kong government has an estimated 30 tons of confiscated ivory, and it doesn't really know what to do with it. They can't put it back in the market, and it costs so much money to keep it locked securely in a warehouse. So why not just destroy it? The US destroyed 6 tons of ivory last week. The Philippines and Kenya have done the same. So why not Hong Kong? It will send the strongest message yet that Hong Kong is serious about cracking down on the trade. So in conclusion, what can you do to help? First and foremost, you can make sure that you never buy ivory, and tell your friends and family to never buy ivory or accept gifts made from ivory. If we reduce and eventually stop the demand for ivory, then the killing of innocent elephants will stop as well. Also, if you agree with me that the Hong Kong government should destroy the ivory, please sign my petition. I will send the petition back with the trusts to make sure that all of our voices are heard. Even if you spread the no to ivory message to just one person, it will make a difference. Remember, if we do nothing, then nothing will change. Thanks for listening.